fellas, it is I, Hellgear, and it's Cyberdark deck profile time. Testing is over, and with the text that I've added, I'm very happy with the way this deck performs since its Cyber Strike structure deck increases. So, like, sub, and bell, and let me know what you think of my build in the comment section below. I'll even link to the budget version. And just before we count the cards here, I want to let everybody know that this build has more of a focus of Cyberdark in general, not full-on Cyber style. Anyway, let's count the cards. So, as always, we are doing one Cyberdark Horn, Edge, and Keel. And I've learned to let go of the second pieces, or the second copies of these, but they're in the side deck. On normal summon, they can equip to a level 3 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, gaining the attack points of said dragon in the process. And if they would die in battle, you can pitch the equipped card equipped to their by this effect. In addition to that, Horn deals piercing damage, Edge can bypass your opponent's monsters and attack directly, though the damage dealt is half, and Keel deals 300 extra burn damage when it destroys a monster in battle. Next up, we have 2 copies of our big boy Cyberdark Chimera. This is the one where we discard the spell or trap and it adds Power Bond from our deck to our hand. And once when we fusion summon, we can also banish monsters, well, materials from the graveyard. Very useful card. Love it. 2 copies of Cyberdark Cannon and 2 copies of Cyberdark Claw. These are the main 2 level 3 dragon monsters of the archetype. On discard, Cyberdark Cannon lets you rota a Cyberdark machine monster to your hand, while Cyberdark Claw on discard rotas a Cyberdark spell or trap. When the monster equipped to Cannon battles, you Foolish Burial a monster from your deck. And when the monster equipped with Claw battles, you Extra Foolish Burial a monster from your extra deck. Also, if they would be destroyed while equipped, Cyberdark Cannon lets you draw a card, and Claw lets you add a Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. True to my budget deck profile, I'm only running one of the original Cyberdark Dragon. However, I am running 2 cores. You shouldn't be running any more of the original 5-star Strident Blaster in your deck anyway. One is all you need. Core can search out any of the Cyber spell and traps, and in the Cyberdark case, the Cyberdark spell and traps can be searched out as well. Well, and if you need to, you can banish a core to simply Stratos the original Cyber Dragon from your deck. Hertz is really a fun card in this one. You're not really going to use the first effect. The main one that you're going to use is when it's sent to the graveyard to add this Cyber Dragon to your hand. And then of course we have our Naxter, which can extend by special summoning itself and even reviving Mr. Main Strident Blaster himself. Now some other cards I'm running in this deck. Personal favorite, Phaedron, the Winds of Mischief. This was not added in the budget version of the structure deck, and I do like how it works. On summon, it lets one monster deal piercing damage, and it has a quick effect that switches a monster's battle position, and then it bounces itself back to the hand. Very useful control aspect when you get it out. Ling Ling is not new from the budget version. Again, it's a union monster. It can protect the monster it's equipped to from being destroyed by card effects. Dragon Buster Lock, everybody knows about that. Now my tech card, this tech card right here, this is some fun stuff. Too bad Max doesn't make these sleeves anymore. And one of the reasons why the testing for this was a little bit late. I like the way this card plays, even at 1. And in a match, I saw this card all 3 games. And it is a beautiful card, known as Chaos Dragon Levianeer. If you've been paying attention, all of the Cyber Dragons are light attribute. And since the Cyberdarks are dark attribute, its banish effect to blast 2 cards on the board is always going to be live. 2 effect veilers for the hand trap of choice. This is my favorite hand trap. Plus, it's a light monster, which also makes sure that Levianeer has a light monster in the graveyard to banish for it to be live. Spell game over. Well, spell game is up. Monster game's over. We're running 2 copies of Cyberdark Realm. I still feel happy running only 2 copies of this card, as 3 is clutter. On activation, it lets you rota a Cyberdark monster different from the ones in your graveyard, and then after that, it allows you to normal summon a Cyberdark monster. Now, the rota is only a one-time thing, but the normal summon is something that can continuously happen. So if you do normal summon 1 Cyberdark monster, then you play this, you can rota and then get a natural normal summoning extender. 2 copies of Cybernetic Horizon. This is the new whip here, and I do like playing this at 2. Send 2 Cyber Dragon or Machine monsters of different attributes to the graveyard. 1 from your hand, 1 from your deck, and you add a Cyber Machine monster to your hand. Then if you do, you can take a Cyber Fusion monster in your extra deck and send it to the graveyard. So to clear this up, and many duelists in my community ask me about this, when you send the Cyberdark monsters, usually light and dark, from your hand to your deck, you are sending them as cost. Keep this in mind when your opponent decides to hit you with Ash Blossom. You are sending as cost to Rhoda. And between it and Extra Foolish Burial, you should be able to send the 2 cards needed for the big boss of the extra deck to your graveyard. Just remember, Extra Foolish Burial costs half of your life points. One Cyberdark Inferno. You only need 1 of this field spell. I'm sticking with the super rare if you haven't noticed. This essentially gives any Cyberdark monster that is equipped, or Cyberdark effect monster that is equipped with an equipped card, protection from being destroyed by your opponent's cards and card effects. Very useful stuff. Also, you can bounce a Cyberdark monster from your field to your hand and then normal summon a different one. And if this field spell is destroyed by card effect, it lets you rota a fusion spell card, whether it be Polymerization, which you don't play, or any of the various fusion ones. It does not rota Cyberdark Impact, unfortunately. The secret rare version of this card still looks lovely. I put that up in my book. This essentially is the fusion for Horn, Edge, and Keel, returning them from the field or graveyard into the deck, and then you fusion summon into your Cyberdark Dragon. More on this when we get into the extra deck game. The main cards you're going to rota off of Inferno are your Overload fusions. And there are multiple targets in the extra deck that you can overload fuse into. Power Bond. This is the big boy that Chimera gets. Remember, folks, the reason we play 2 is if 1 Chimera is in your hand, or if you manage to draw 1 Power Bond, you can't use its effect to search out the other one. And just remember, If you're going to power bond, you'll get burned for the original attack at the end of the turn. Now, I want to talk about this card. One of the biggest issues, especially MBT mentioned this about Dragon Buster and Destruction Sword. Well, I found an interesting use for Dragon Buster and Destruction Sword if you manage to hard draw it. And it comes in the form of this spell, which is a very unexpected tech, the Claw of Hermos. That should give you an idea of what's going on in the extra deck. We know how Monster Reborn works. I don't have to explain that to you. And of course, I have the Lightning Vortex in here. If you have Lightning Storm, go ahead and use it. Trap game, y'all. We got the 2 copies of the Cyberdark Invasion. This links our dragons, our Cyberdark machines, and the Cyber Dragon machines all together. It is your main form of disruption. Once per turn. And then of course the 3 infinite imperms to wrap up the 40 card main deck. Gotta love that action there. Extra deck time, duelists. We have 2 copies of Cyberdark Dragon. You can always send one to the graveyard off of Claw, and 1 Darkness whenever you need it. It does have negating actions that the original Cyberdark does not. 2 Cyberdark End Dragons. This is the big nasty, the boss of the extra deck, the 5k booty, well, 3800 booty, but the 5 rack attack monster that, if you do the play with Chimera, can be a 10 rack monster that can blow away opponents in 1 breath. 1 Cyber End Dragon. I did play 2, but 1 seems to work very well in this. I also play a Cyber Twin Dragon as an alternative OTK monster with Power Bond. 5600 and swings twice? Yeah, sign me up. 1 Chimera Tech Rampage just to hit the back row and then swing at your opponent multiple times. Another OTK monster. We have the 1 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Very fun way to get things out if you need to in a pinch. The Claw of Hermos with Dragon Buster Destruction Sword gets us Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. And using the Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword is a very fun power boost. Once it's summoned, you equip it to a monster. It gains 500 attack for every dragon on the field and in each graveyard, in addition to 1000 attack point boost. So on equip, something's getting 1500 out the gate. And depending on how many other dragons you have in your graveyard, it'll get boosted by those as well. 5 God is just sweet, sweet overkill. 2 Elter Entity Unts. These can be discarded off of Claw to blast a card on the field. The same goes for when Pegasus Ad Ignister. Send it to the graveyard off of Claw, and then when you have a problematic monster, you can banish it from the graveyard and bounce one of your opponent's problematic cards. And finally, Cyber Dragon Seeker as a very nice boost. It can help you out in a pinch when you need to. That's the deck profile, you guys. I hope you enjoy this. Again, I will link to the budget version in the comment section below, and tell me what you think of this non-budget version in the comment section below as well. Raise your thumbs if you've enjoyed this one. Now let me take my cards to the box because I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody.